L to the fellowship. We thank you guys for tuning in. Hope you guys are doing well, having a great day. I am your nerdy know me reviewer, the Elvin Barber, and joining me, as always, TC, the Token Cripple. How are you?
Well, he had to watch the Winchesters, so I can't say great.
But you survived.
I survived.
And we are those guys. Before we get started in this reaction here, episode 5 of the Winchesters, we do ask that you smash that like button, subscribe, leave a comment. Joe, I got a whole thing going, man. You're killing me over here. Killing me, Smalls. Before we get started, we do ask you smash that like button, subscribe, hit that bell for notifications, and share this video out there. So it is episode 6. I am sorry. Thank you for correcting me during my intro spiel. Episode 6. It's important you guys know that it is fucking episode 6. Nobody gives a fuck. All right? No one cares. No, it's fine. No, it's all good. So, the show opens up. We got a woman running in the woods. Classic, right? Classic woman running in the woods trope. What did she trip over? Her fucking feet, because why not? Why not? Where does she go and hide, TC? Where does she go and hide?
A fucking barn.
She goes and hides in a fucking barn. Like, everyone knows you don't go in the fucking barn. Like, why are you going in the barn? Like, literally, your best friend is in the house, not even 50 feet away. Yeah, here you
Also, you try and do these damn sigils really damn quick, but they never mentioned that. So what were those sigils supposed to do?
What were they? Did they even work? Did she even... Clearly, they didn't even work. I don't even know what she was doing. Yeah, okay, yeah. So we find out she's a hunter. That's during when she's like in there and she's got her knife with her and she's doing the sigil. I'm like, oh, okay, this bitch is a hunter. Like, all right, so there's that. And then you're like, what's going on? And then there's like an awkward moment where she's just like walking backwards in the dark, and you're just like, what the fuck is going on? Then she just gets murdered.
Yeah, TK murdered.
Immediately gets murdered. Boom. Then we jump to where the hell we jump to? Oh, this bitch. Oh, female Sam's meditating.
Yep.
Because she's a pacifist. So she's got to be one. She's got to namaste this bitch, you know. She's got to be one with herself, but she's interrupted because, you know, Carlos and John are arguing about the Akrita.
Can I just say, if you aren't at peace to the point where you can ignore that shit, you aren't very good at the meditation spiel. The whole thing is you're supposed to be able to ignore outside distractions. That's the point.
Maybe she just started. I don't know. No, I would say she just started, but it doesn't seem like she did just start. Seems like this is something she's been practicing for quite some time. Yeah, she let, these two guys interrupt her. Is it me or does it feel like John? Are they making him like really toxic, like a toxic white male in this episode? Like he was kind of intense.
But again, I don't know if he's wrong though. Like the only thing that he did that was wrong was like investigating the same place twice. Why didn't he just keep looking other places? I don't know. Or take that fucking bike that they were working on last episode. Go out there and go out with that.
Yeah, I don't know. It just seemed like they just had him. He was just like coming off really rude, like to everyone. Like,
I didn't get that impression from the previous episode. They're like, this is supposed to be a recurring thing. Like he's getting worse, but it's like I didn't get that impression last episode.
I didn't get that impression either. So I'm just like, what the hell? Like, what the hell is going on right now? And then he's like, oh God, this thing he's got for Mary. I would rather kill this thing now so you can stay alive and not be a. I'm like, Like I don't know, man. It's will she, won't she? That's every week. Will she hunt? Will she not hunt? Will she be a hunter? Will she not be a hunter? Like it's like make up your fucking mind. Like this is
what's the end game here? Please tell me.
Like yeah, what is the end? Like how long are we going to go in circles with this fucking thing? I honestly don't know. But in any event, so they get a phone call from the secret Ghostbuster phone there. Actually, Carlos makes a reference and says, "Oh, you got a bat phone?"
Okay, can I just ask? There were so many phones in the bunker. A, I don't remember that from Supernatural. Not that they give a shit. And B, when Bobby had like 20 phones, you know what he had? He had them all labeled, and they were all easily visible. Like they had to hunt for this damn thing.
Yeah, apparently they don't give a fuck. No one cares about consistency and continuity in this show. So the phone calls from a former hunter who got out of the game 2 years ago, and she was like, "Oh no, my best friend who happens to be the hunter who died in the beginning." It's like, "Oh, I found her body in the barn, and I think it's a werewolf attack, but I'm not sure." They're like, everyone's so quick to identify a fucking monster.
The other thing is, werewolves, their MO is very, very, very particular. Every hunter would know exactly how to identify one. They would know right the fuck now that it wasn't a werewolf.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They'd be like, "Oh, is the heart still intact? Oh, not a werewolf."
They would look for the signs.
And it didn't exactly look like that person was mauled. It looked like she was exploded.
Right. I thought she was exploded. I didn't think there were any remains left until they got to the barn, and they lift up the cover and saw her face, and I was like, "Oh wow, I didn't know there was a face to see." Like I thought this thing completely shredded her up, but apparently it didn't. But when they get there,
Side note: remember when Supernatural had really kick-ass music? What happened to that?
Yeah, I don't know. I honestly don't mind them not having any music because again, they would just play all the 70s shit and just throw it right in your face. It's like, oh, just in case you forgot.
But I mean, they were very intense with that funeral scene. They had a lot of music and a lot of really somber music. I'm like, you didn't even make it as big a deal when Bobby died, for God's sake.
Yeah, they really didn't. I'm like, oh, is this how they send hunters off? Because I don't remember this. Don't remember this.
Somebody we've never met, will never be mentioned again. I can almost guarantee it. Had more focus put on the funeral rites than we've ever seen in Supernatural.
Yeah, they really did. I'm like, okay, whatever. So Fimo Sam's like, oh, I gotta consult with someone to just confirm that this is a werewolf. I've got a person who's a monster identifier. And I'm like, what?
That's a job now.
That's a job now? Monster identification? Okay.
So trying to help them kill it. They just want to know what it is. They have a guy for that specifically.
They got a guy for that. They got a guy for everything, apparently. So they get to the guy he's a taxidermist. A black taxidermist in the 70s, which I found hilarious. I don't know why, but it was just funny to me. Not even a black taxidermist, a gay black taxidermist in the 70s, which I thought was the gay part. It's only funny because he and Carlos were just like giddy schoolgirls.
Yeah, they dialed that up to 11 this episode.
I'm like,
they really did, and they had no chemistry together because Carlos didn't freaking talk.
Yeah, Carlos.
Not that I don't even like Carlos.
I was gonna say Carlos, who can't shut the fuck up in any scene where I'm just like, oh my god. And then when the guy gets into the scene, the new guy, he has no words, nothing to say, nothing. And I'm like, okay, I kind of like this show now when he speaks less. when he speaks less. So then we find out what the creature actually is. It's not a werewolf. It's a coelacanth, a sequoia cunt. That's what we're gonna call it.
Yes.
Sequoia cunt, which is like a vampire, like creature.
A vampire witch creature.
Yeah, vampire witch creature.
But how does that work? I have no idea, but fine, let's go with it.
Because the plot needs it to, essentially. So they call Mary and John, who are back at the house with the former hunter, and they, explain what it is. And then out of nowhere, the fucking thing shows up, busts open the door, burns the sigil on the wall.
So what was the point of the sigil?
It just walks the fuck in. I don't. So it just starts causing havoc. I think it starts beating the shit out of John and Mary, and then fucking John uses what is it? God, what is that? The fire.
Fire extinguisher.
The fire extinguisher. So instead of the machete, which Mary goes for, obviously, because Mary's got to have the machete. John uses the extinguisher, hits the fucking monster, then uses
Mary chops off his hand.
Then uses the extinguisher on the monster. He pushes the monster outside, which is fucking ridiculous. Mary then grabs the machete, goes outside to follow John and this creature. John's outside just fucking battling this creature. Which I thought was the most ridiculous fucking shit I've ever seen. Like, he's literally brawling with this creature in the grass, rolling and scuffling. And I'm like, are you fucking... Like, he should be dead. Like, what is he doing right now?
Plus, you think he'd have enough experience as a hunter to get a weapon.
Oh, my God.
Even if he doesn't know what it is.
He had a fire extinguisher. That's what he had. And he threw it to the ground and went outside. Oh my God. They had him be so fucking dumb. So he's getting choked out. This thing ends up like literally penetrating him with its nail.
Please
not in a fun way. He didn't get penetrated in a fun way. He's got to get, fucked over because that's how the show goes. And then Mary comes to save the day as usual. It chops off this thing's arm. And then this thing, it's like, oh, and then it just runs away. So I thought that shit
with no blood.
No blood. No blood. We find out it's not blood. It's what is it? Ectoplasm.
It's got ectoplasm. I'm like,
ectoplasm. Yeah.
It should still be bleeding. That though, I would think it's supposed to be a liquid.
Yeah. So after this scene, John's being, I'm fine. And Mary's like, you're not fine. He's like, oh, I'm fine. Blah blah blah. That's pretty much how that whole thing went. Then Carlos and is like, oh, is Anton here? He's the taxidermist.
Oh yeah.
No one cares about that. Then Anton and female Sam are like, oh yeah, it's got to be a ghost, a spirit possessing this soya cunt because the ectoplasm. Oh God. So
and they use a bone saw to like cut it open. I wanted so badly for something to happen, and the bone saw like breaks off and like stabs this dude.
That would make it a great show if it did that. If that happened, I'd be like, oh, fuck yeah, let's go. So female Sam comes upstairs and she's like, oh, we found out what it is. Like, blah, blah, blah. Come downstairs. We can talk. And then Mary's talking to John and she's like, are you going to come? Like, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, I'll be down in a minute because I'm toxic now. I'll be down in a minute. And then he just goes and fucks off to find this thing. By himself without any inclination of how to kill it. He just like, fuck it, and I'm gonna go find this thing.
And then he goes to a punching bag, and the way he's breathing when he's punching, is that a normal thing? I feel like you wouldn't need to be. I don't think you need to make that noise.
I mean, a lot of times people do like control breathing, and they kind of do like quick breaths when they punch. But his stance and form was all wrong. Like everything was wrong. It wasn't even because of his injury either. It just was not a good scene.
No.
But so he gets to the barn. That's next. He gets to the barn and he finds the Soya cunt, and he's trying to fight it, and it's not working. And then the Soya cunt ends up possessing John.
Yep.
Ends up possessing John. So then the gang's like, "Oh no, where's John?" I think Mary's like, "Oh, he's supposed to be down here." So they go looking for him. They get to the barn and they find out, "Oh, to go, John, he's possessed by the Soya cunt, or the spirit that was within it."
I was also confused when the spirit said he's along for the ride. Well, what? She's like, fight it. And says,
oh yeah,
not like he's not here. It was he's along for the ride. What is that supposed to mean? I didn't get it.
That was poor wording. I don't know if they were like trying to say that he is just letting it happen, like he doesn't want to fight. He has no will to fight. Like I don't know if that's the case, but they could have just said that, like he has no will or he's not strong enough or something. But he's along for the ride. Like that's kind of out of character for John.
Yeah, John Winchester, who hates anything and everything supernatural and wants it dead. Yeah, I don't think he would just be like, "Yeah, let's."
Yeah, I'll come along for the ride. Yeah. So they end up wanting to. So then we find out that the ghost is a former hunter. Am I correct? He's like a former hunter that
he's a former hunter and some sort of like sociopath or something.
I think
they said was a monster, like a monstrous person. So they recruited him to hunt, and then he started using black magic or something.
I thought something happened to him, and he was trying to find ways to counter the effects, and he thought dark or black magic was going to do it, and it just ended up making it worse. And
then they just straight up kill him.
Yeah, to the point where his entire team was like, "Fuck this," and just fucking buried him alive, essentially. which is all kinds of fucked.
That's almost on brand for Sam and Dean in late Supernatural.
That's probably the most on brand shit from Supernatural that we found in this show. So, so the hunter, the former hunter who used to be this guy's partner, she's like holding a shotgun. They're like, no, don't shoot him. And the most ridiculous fucking shit happens next.
Oh yes, female Sam. She is wonderful in this episode.
Female Sam. Side note, because we did bring this up earlier before we were on stream. Female Sam was in the car and she asked fellow hunter Carlos if she was a liability.
Because she's a pacifist.
Because she's a pacifist.
Let me answer that for you. Yes, you are.
Let me also answer that for you. Yeah, bitch, you definitely are. You're a huge liability. Like, why are you even in the field? Like, would not trust you to have my back at all. At all. But they needed to reaffirm that she's so amazing. And how do they do that, TC? How do they do that?
They make her really get into this creature's feels and just I understand your darkness and your rage and generic bullshit sentences that don't mean bullshit. And it works. So instead of doing the right thing and saying, being a hunter in the field and a pacifist doesn't work. You're just a liability at that point because you're not useful without trying to at least being able to defend yourself, which you can't do because you're a pacifist. They're like, no, you're right. You are stunning and brave for being a pacifist hunter. You're not like the rest of us.
I mean, that pretty much sums it all up. That pretty much sums it all up. She got into the ghosts. She got into the spirits' feels. She made him realize that the violence could end there, and essentially she said, "It's okay, you can go now."
and he goes. Oh, and but there was one other thing. The chick holding the gun literally says, "I know I wasn't there for you then, but I am now.
But I'm here now."
They literally do. They got the fight. Oh man, and it's fantastic.
That is fucking awesome. Fucking awesome. So yeah, they end up saving. She ends up saving the day because they got to give the pacifists a W. And that's And then at the end of the show, John goes into the female sin because she's female sin's meditating again. I am centered. I am one with myself. She's with all these affirmations she's telling herself. Now she's got John telling himself there's all this bullshit.
And then, you know what's funny? She immediately loses her shit as soon as somebody knocks on the door. And then she realizes it's John, and she's like, "Oh, it's fine."
Yeah. No consistency. Then then as they're meditating, Carlos and Mary, they bust in the door. And they're like, "Oh yeah, we found the Akrita. We found the radio station." And that's I think that was it.
There is one other thing. Retired hunter with the shotgun. She was gonna kill John. We know that wouldn't do shit because at that point the spirit would sustain his body long enough to snap her neck with telekinesis. And again, why didn't the spirit snap their neck with telekinesis? You can't establish they have the thing and not use it.
That's because they didn't establish it in the Winchester show.
They did though. They did. He was using telekinesis all throughout that fight.
But he never used it to snap anyone's neck.
Oh, I see. They didn't establish that you find control to snap a neck, but you can pin somebody against the wall by the neck using telekinesis.
Of course, that's called using the Force. Duh. Duh. Yeah.
Can Vader please get on the show and snap some necks?
I wish Vader would snap some fucking necks, starting with the fucking cast, because this fucking... Jeez. This show is... Well, I guess it's time to do the ratings. What did you rate this episode 1 to 10?
2. And the other thing is they're talking about the essence, like how the Akrita's after the essence. How did they know how to take the essence? How do they know what the essence is they're looking for?
Oh,
it doesn't make sense to me.
I don't think I paid attention enough to that, so don't even remember them saying that. But yeah, I mean, you have a point. I would give this show 1, and never gonna watch that episode again.
Well, don't worry, Barbara. We only have 7 more, and then it will never happen again. Thanks God.
7 more fucking episodes.
We're almost halfway there.
God. Well, we thank you guys for tuning in and listening to us rant about the Winchesters. If you can, please smash that like button, subscribe, leave a comment, let us know what you think about the episode, or what you think in general. Hit that bell for notifications and share this video out there. But as always, you guys take care and have a great day.
Have a good one, everybody.